don't know if that's a bass or not. Ooh. He came back and got it. Yeah, baby. That's what I am talking about right there. X-Wrap prop, chrome, baby, with a little orange belly. That fish came up under that bait, dude, and humped the water up and turned away. And dude, I twitched it one more time and it made that noise and she couldn't handle it, dude. Pretty Okeechobee bass right there. There's nothing more fun than that bite. I love it, man. These are gigantic flats right off the main lake that are protected with some eelgrass and clear water. And you know, these fish are, you know, they're thinking about spawning. They may not be exactly in that phase, but they're up here to spawn. You know, there might be 2 or 3 fish on a single bed right there. So it's all visualization. Like I'm looking out across here looking for holes. I'm looking for a place that there might be one set up on bed or thinking about bedding or making a bed. And you know, you get a bite like I just had, make another cast there, let it sit there. Let this bait talk, let it call them up. We got the main lake, we got a lot of current coming through. Oh, we got a filter, we got all the eelgrass that's filtering this water. And I mean, I can visually tell just by looking at these lily pads and the way these reeds are laid over, we got a lot of current flow coming through this cut right here. And just like any bass, like he's gonna position himself in a place that makes feeding easy. But if I just stop that bait, you watch, that's how much current the wind is creating coming through this funnel. You know, we just had a bite right here and it was a place where it was a point with current pushing on it. You can see that bait just sliding down the edge of them reeds, man. It's just a perfect place, perfect conditions, and the perfect bait right here for this condition. A lot of the old wooden baits, as good as we would tune them and make them work, when you got them in a little chop like that, I just couldn't make it work. But with this prop bait, I can get that distinct ripping sound, the sound that calls that fish. I can get it to do it in a lot of different conditions. These are very consistent. It's a plastic bait, handles split rings, it handles bigger hooks. And you know, it just makes this lure a lot more versatile for me out here on the water, because there's very few times that it's just calm and sunny all day when you go fishing. Like, you know, you're gonna be faced with a little ripple. And I honestly consider this little ripple right here to be perfect conditions. Like, I think it helps camouflage you just a little bit. I think it's easier to get a bite. It creates that current we've been talking about. And when I'm throwing the X-Wrap prop, you're trying to achieve a certain sound. And I wouldn't say it's very unique to other topwater style baits, because I don't want a quick, sharp jerk. Like, it doesn't quite make that sound. The way that I achieve the sound that calls the fish is I start pulling the bait just ever so slightly, like get those blades turning, and then get that speed with your rod tip. Like, it's very important to get the blades turning before you make that rip. And to get the perfect rip, I want the bait to move as little as possible. Usually about 6 to 8 inches is how far I'm actually moving that bait. But starting slow with that rod tip, getting those blades turning, achieves the sound that calls the fish. My typical prop bait setup is it's a 7-foot, you know, medium heavy, kind of a fast tip rod. It's a great all-around rod. And on this, I have, you know, it's a high-speed 7.2 to 1 reel with 30-pound braided line. This is Suffix 832 is what this is. And then I have a extremely long lead. It's probably 5 foot a leader on here. And this is 20-pound Suffix Advanced Mono. And I love the mono for this particular presentation because it has a lot of stretch. And the longer the leader, the more stretch I have. So I like some give, just because when that big fish starts doing this and shaking that head, treble hooks are really small. It only has to move 1/4 of an inch for that hook to pull. So that long leader that I have on this particular rod, that gives me enough stretch where I feel like it puts, you know, it'll keep those treble hooks in that fish's mouth where I want them. And that's the setup. The only other trick that I got up my sleeve right here is this knot. It's a FG knot, and it's the thinnest knot I know of to attach braid to fluorocarbon or monofilament. So, you know, in a day's time, I can make longer casts. I feel like I can cast more accurately with braid than I can mono. And I do like the strength factor. I think, you know, fighting a big fish through some of this stuff, like it gives me a little bit of advantage, so. This bait is right out of the package. I think these come pretty good for what I want the bait to do, but don't be afraid. Those blades, even on this bait, you can bend so there's less resistance. You can make it quieter, make it noisier. So there is a few little adjustments you can make. If it was calmer, say the fish weren't really committing to the bait, I might want to make it, you know, a little less loud. You could fold the blades over. It's gonna just quiet it down just a little bit, a little less disturbance on top than what you're getting with the blades more vertical. You know, if you make an adjustment to the thing that you don't think is working, all you gotta do is bend them back. So, I mean, it's just kind of just a visual thing. You can see right out of the pack, they're pretty vertical. Straight up and down to where they're spinning is what I mean. I upgraded to the hybrid treble. These are number 6 short shank hooks. It does several things. It's a stronger hook, number 1. Number 2, it's actually gonna make this bait a little bit louder than the stock version. And I mean, it's not much weight. You're talking about 3 treble hooks, and these don't weigh a lot because they're short shanks, but it's enough. I think it increases your chances of getting that fish from out there on the end of a cast into the boat. There's nothing like it when they get on this bait. It's hard to beat. It's just hard to beat. It's a lure and a technique. When it is on, it flat out gets it done.